Halifax sits west of Kingston and south of Pembroke on a little over 17 square miles of land and has a population of about 7,700.
We are here with Sophie Wolf at 550 Tavern. How long has this business been?
This business has been the 550 Tavern for about 4 years now. Since COVID, they renovated it into the restaurant. But before that, it was the Montponset Inn for decades.
Decades. And we're right by the lakes?
Yep, they call this between the lakes in Halifax, the East and West Montponset Lake.
And what's your specialties, do you think, that people eat the most here?
Ooh. I would say for dinner, our steak tips and our turkey tips are delicious. We do a fantastic bar pie, which is pretty traditional for this area. We're very well known for it. At breakfast, pretty much everything Susie does is good. You're just eating banana French toast, banana bread French toast.
Oh, that sounds delicious. It was delicious. I had some. And so tell us your hours.
We're open from 8 to 9 p.m. every day, Wednesday to Sunday. We do breakfast from 8 to 11:30 during the week and 12-ish on Sundays. And then we serve bar pies until from 9 to 10 on Fridays and Saturday nights.
I don't know.
During live music.
What's
a bar pie?
Yeah.
They're those little 10-inch pies. You cook them in a pan. They put sauce all the way to the edge. You get a really crispy
Are they like pizza?
edge. They're pizzas, yeah.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Little personal pizzas.
Oh, that's kind
They're
of
delicious.
Yes.
Very good, crispy.
The overall, who owns this, etc.
So about a year ago, the Sapphire Event Group bought the restaurant. They own a variety of wedding venues in Walpole, Sharon, East Bridgewater, and then they bought it to renovate the wedding venue over there on the other side of the building.
Okay, so there's one on the other side.
There's one on the other side, and then this is their first restaurant that they own.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So
they're liking it.
And is there a different kitchen there for the wedding?
Nope,
venue?
same kitchen, same staff. Just a few more people come on the weekends to help out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And do they do anything else besides weddings? Or
Nope, just big weddings.
Wow.
Beautiful weddings.
Oh, wow.
They really did a nice job over there. They did.
Okay.
And the whole thing used to be Montponset Inn, right?
Yes, it was the Montponset Inn for decades. It was just a restaurant, and then 4 years ago when they renovated over here, they were doing weddings over on that side. But then the new owners bought it and totally renovated the whole other side. Totally different, very modern.
Cool.
And that has a different name too, right?
That's the lake house.
Okay.
It's the wedding venue.
Do you have any different things in the evenings?
Yeah, so on Friday and Saturday nights from 8 to 11, we have live music. It's usually a guy with a guitar, a gal with a guitar. And then on Sundays from 12 to 3, we have Jeff Rosen comes and plays live music. He's a guy with a guitar, very
Really?
well known in this area from Halifax.
Wow. So you can have your music, have
Yes.
a drink, have a dinner, whatever.
Absolutely. I think this is just a really great local spot.
And,
We have a lot of good regulars, a lot of people in here every day.
and how long have you personally worked here?
I've worked here for 2.5 years.
Very good.
Yeah, I started as a server, bartender, and now I'm the assistant manager.
Wow. Well, congratulations. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't
That was-
ask you
that
what
was
your
recent.
Well, great. So
It's a lot of
are
fun
you
down
here,
here.
since you're assistant manager, are your hours all over the place, or do you get to work one shift? How does that
I'm
work?
here 5 days a week. I do 2 breakfasts, 2 dinners, and then I bartend on Sunday nights.
Wow.
It's very fun. It's the
Well,
best place
I
to
like
work.
that.
We have the
That's
best
great.
coworkers here.
Oh, that's neat.
Everyone gets along so well.
Well, listen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have the banana French toast. It looks delicious. I didn't even put syrup on it because it doesn't look like it needs it. And bananas on top. Bananas are healthy, you know. This is very, very good. I think from now on I only am going to have banana bread if I have French toast. It's good. Okay.
I have a veggie baked. It's got, I can see onion, green pepper, I think I see a tomato, or maybe that's, and cheese and eggs. If you come here, I'd highly recommend this. Very much. And
Potatoes. Very good.
very good.
And these are special, so
Yeah, I don't know.
better come soon.
Yeah, maybe today.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll be gone.
Yeah.
We're here with John Shea at the Halifax Museum. And you are, what's your role with the Historic Society?
I'm part of the Historical Society, a member of it, and I'm vice chairman of the Historical Commission,
Commission.
which is a little bit different, but
Right,
yeah.
right. So this museum, tell me a little, the history. How long is this?
Well, the museum was moved here in 1910. This was one of the 5 schools that we had in Halifax. And in 1904, they built the school next to the museum here as a center school.
Okay.
And then three of those schools went to houses. One went to a fire station, which was originally across the street, and that was our first fire station. That was then moved to next to the blacksmith shop, and then this one here became a library in 1910. We had libraries, 2 or 3 of them, at different places in town, but this was the first official building of a library that's going to be stationary here. And it stayed as a library until the mid-'80s when we built the now library that's attached to the elementary school. This became a vacant building. The Historical Society then had members that had, artifacts and everything else, and they needed a place for storage. So the town allowed us to have this as the museum. And over the years, between donations and loans, so to speak, we've filled the museum up, as you can see.
Yes, you have.
We have a lot of books in here, and if you have any ancestry that you're looking for, we have a lot of the vital record books here.
Oh,
We have
great.
Civil War books. We have all kinds of material that you can look up. And we also had the state come down and do a lot of video ones.
videos?
Yeah, and then they put those online so you can see that, like all the yearbooks and all that kind of stuff. They
Oh,
put all of
that's
that in there.
nice.
Yep. So, but this building here, original building, is just behind you. You'll see it, a wall in the other room. That was the original building. They did add 2 more additions to it over the years, and one was a classroom at one time.
Aha.
So it had a little bit more history to it. So it was a Brockton store that was across the street, and that was halfway between Plymouth and Brockton. But we would get our material, dry goods, from Brockton, so that's why they call it the Brockton store.
And is that there anymore?
We had the town elected to move it, and we moved it across the street, which is next door to the museum, and with a sign and everything else, and we have artifacts in that. We also have a blacksmith shop that was on Old Plymouth Street, and the town also elected to vote that in, and we moved the blacksmith shop from Old Plymouth Street, which is about 1.5 miles or so down the street, to next to the next to the museum down in the valley that we'll show you later on.
Okay, that's great.
And
That's,
so
and
those
that's
are
kind of exciting.
Yeah, those are
Those
2. And the blacksmith shop is an original. Everything that you see in that blacksmith shop is original to the way we moved it.
So if somebody was coming to Halifax, how would they be able to come in? Or can't they? Or how does that
Well,
work?
if you want to come in, you would have to go by appointment.
Okay.
Because like everything else, you need volunteers.
That's
And we
true.
don't have a lot of volunteers, and there's a few people that are members. And we have the key, and if anybody wants to come in, you can come in here. We try to get it, again, open on Sundays.
Oh,
once
you
a
do?
month, once a
Okay.
month.
All
Again,
right.
it's on the volunteers. You put the flag out, and they see it, they come in.
Then they come in.
Yeah, they sign the book and everything else, so, yeah.
And
but,
do any of the schools come in here at all? Bring the
Yes,
children?
yeah, the children have, between the blacksmith shop and this and the Brockton store, they'll have their field trips
Okay.
in the spring. They usually do that in the spring. They'll bring the children down and explain things to them and stuff like that. So
That's
that,
neat.
yeah, it's open for that.
That's
But again, they let us know. and
Be
they-
ahead of time
yeah,
so that
and
you can.
They'll come in and use it, yeah.
Okay.
We also we have a monument, it's on Monument Hill right here. We have the first Civil War monument that was erected in the state of Massachusetts.
Really? And is
In
that
1867.
on this right
It's
here, or do
as
we
we
go?
leave the museum, we turn right, and it's on the top of the hill is South Street. It's right there on the hill.
Okay, we've
You'll
got to
see.
get some pictures of
Yeah,
that.
that's the first original, in 1867 they erected it.
And when was the town settled?
The town was settled, well, people were here, but as far as being incorporated, we were incorporated July 4th, 1734.
1734 on July 4th. Wow.
July 4th, 1734. And we get confused by the other Halifax, which was, they were incorporated, Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay.
They
I'm
were,
like, wait a minute.
They were incorporated in 1759.
No way.
So we're older as far as incorporation than they are, but we get confused with them.
What was this town at that time? Were there farmers? What was the...
Well, there's a lot of farmers and a lot of wood, the lumber. They had, Bosworth had a box mill down on Palmer Mill Road. No, not Palmer Mill Road. That'd be edited. Furnace Street. They had a box mill, and that company would make big boxes, and they would ship the shoes. They would ship the boxes to Brockton, and then
Okay,
there
for
they
the
would put shoes
shoes
in
in
there,
it.
and they were gross ones. They were great big ones, they're not small ones, and they would send them to the Civil War and stuff like
Wow.
that. So, and we made cannonballs and shots for the Civil War because we have there's a lot of iron ore in the two lakes that we have here, East and West
Oh,
Lake.
really?
So they took the iron ore out of there, and they
And
had a
they-
mill down here, and they made the cannonballs, and they have cannonballs up the top of the hill here, but every once in a while, some mischievous kids would take them and chuck them around and stuff. So they welded them all.
They
up
welded.
there.
They-
So
they
now you
took
see,
care of that
yeah,
problem.
You see them all welded up there now.
And did you
So-
grow up here in town?
No, my wife grew up in town,
Aha.
and her father grew up in town, and her grandfather came here from
Wow.
Nova Scotia and set up the blacksmith shop.
Oh, he
in
set
town.
up the
He-
blacksmith
yeah,
shop.
He's the one that took over the blacksmith shop, yeah. And it-
And,
Go ahead.
okay, what else? What do people do now in town? What's the business? Do they work outside town? What's
yeah,
the main
a
thing?
lot of them work outside. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's not a lot of industry like we used to have, like the farming and the
Mm-hmm.
and the mills that we had and the lumber companies. There's a man named Mr. Vaughn, and he had the largest tax bill in the town of Halifax because he owned so much property, and he had a lot of the lumber,
Uh-huh.
cut. And the field next door, baseball field's named
After
for him. Yeah, because he owned all that land at one
that's-
time. So, yeah.
And I'm supposed to ask you about Kilroy.
Oh, that's on my list. Kilroy was here. Everybody knows that sign. Well, he and his family of 10 children lived in 13th Avenue.
Okay.
And one of his daughters became, she was on a Silver Lake Regional High School committee for a long time. Then she was a town accountant, and then she became a selectman. So she was quite active in
Yeah,
the
it
town that
sounds-
she grew up in here. So it's a famous person that came here.
Okay.
Kilroy was here. The shipyard in Quincy, they were
Okay.
building ships. So the ones doing the riveting would get pay for the amount of rivets that they would do. And then some guys would give a little bit more rivets than the other person, and they would get paid more. So he was assigned to count the rivets and give the person that did the rivets the right amount, and then he'd sign it. Kilroy was here on the part of the ship. So during World War II, a lot of the machinery and everything else that was either blown up or whatever, his name would be there. Kilroy was here.
Oh,
So the
interesting.
military then would say, when they finished something, they would write on a wall or whatever, Kilroy was here.
No way.
So that's how it happened.
And I never
So-
knew what the
No?
statement meant.
No,
I mean,
that
no,
was very
I've heard
famous.
it
Yeah,
since I
yeah,
was
very
a kid.
famous. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Which Thompson House? Is that on 105? That's
Yes.
the original. There's a stone there.
Okay, there's a stone there.
There's a stone there, and that's a cornerstone, not a stone, but a stepstone to the house. And that house was burnt in the
Okay.
King Philip War. Everybody left the town, and King Philip came through here and burnt everything that was here.
Really?
And that was the first house that was built on Thompson Street.
With Candy and Bob. Bob, you're the organist of the church, is that
I
correct?
am, yes.
And-
Moderator,
Choir director.
Choir director, and
Candy's on the Board of Trustees.
you're in the Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
And you were a select woman one
I
time.
was
The
at one
first
time.
one.
First woman, right?
That's okay. All right.
So this This building was built in 1852, I think.
Yes.
And at one time,
It played a major role in the establishment of the town.
Definitely, because it was the meeting house.
It was a
Right,
meeting
exactly.
house. It was a meeting house, and as I told you, the altar was raised in that
Right,
first
and
church.
They probably went way up there.
20 feet, I think it said,
Yes.
and underneath were guns and cannonballs were
I
stored.
think that is cool.
And
the church.
eventually, it became too small. So the meeting house was too small, so they sold it to the town for $700 and cut it in half and moved it to closer to where the current town hall stands. And it stayed there until late 1800s when it burned.
Oh.
And then they built a new one, a new town hall, and the church and they built a new church when the church sold it to the town. So this one was built in what you said,
1850, 1852, somewhere.
yeah, and
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I couldn't imagine when someone said, "Look at, you have to see all the cranes." I thought, what are they talking about? But that's
Yeah.
really cool.
watch out, Bob. There's over, what did you
There's
say?
about 2,700 now.
Yeah,
This project was started in 2018.
and the goal was to,
The goal was to get 1,000 cranes, because the Japanese tradition is that if you get 1,000 cranes, if you make 1,000 cranes, your wishes and dreams will come true.
That's that's what we got to do, Beth. 1,000 cranes
There you
we've
go.
got to make
So-
our wish come true.
We
whatever works.
What we did was have people, if they wanted to, take a piece of origami paper, write a prayer on it.
And some of the
Yeah.
prayers are like a name, or just very
whatever,
simple.
whatever.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
every crane in here has a prayer on it, and we have a member out. Some people have helped her, but pretty much.
Yeah, she's
one woman,
coordinated the
Janice
whole thing.
Campbell, this has been her project and her love, and has pretty much done all the cranes.
Wow.
And so in I think it's
Yeah.
2018.
And we didn't intend to
That's
go
like
past
that.
1,000 and keep going, but it was so popular that
I think it's the neatest thing. I just think it's
people
great.
who come in just are,
Little historical exhibit in the narthex that you can
Okay.
oh, right. The church sits on the highest point in Plymouth County and the center of Plymouth County, right in the center. Right, Bob, that they used?
Yeah, so the head usher would go along, see if somebody's falling asleep, and if they are, give them a little poke.
That's right. You got a little poke.
Yeah,
and,
right.
and how long were the services?
Long.
Like 4 hours,
Yeah.
I
Right,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Judy mentioned Mark Valentine of the flag, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you, yeah.
and there's the flag.
That's-
They
that
put it
covers
down
an
from the
entire
balcony.
sanctuary, so it gives you
Wow.
an idea of how big it is.
Yeah.
No, that's a. Here, I can hear it.
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
It actually picks children up off the ground. Our kids have really fond memories when the bell did work of ringing it, and one of the ushers would pull them down. Used to be the choir loft, but now the choir is down front.
Oh, the choir's down. Yeah, I did see that. Yes. So, yeah.
We have a small choir, so
I think that was 1927, and when Lindbergh, we didn't have any of the, technology we have now.
Right.
So Judy's dad was 17 at that time, and her father was chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and he had his son come over and stand in the bell tower and watch for Lindbergh's plane and ring the bell when Lindbergh flew over, so the
No.
townspeople
People
would
would
know
know.
that Lindbergh was flying over the town on his way to Paris. And he was 17 years old when he did that, so what an honor that must have been for him.
Well, think of the honor of just seeing.
Oh,
It was like when they went to the moon for the.
Exactly.
Yeah, how exciting that was.
Exactly.
Yes.
Halifax was one of the last towns he flew over before he went out to sea.
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Yeah,
Okay.
go to him, sure.
There you go.
He died in 1946, not in the blacksmith shop, but a building attached to it, and which was a gas station.
What was his name again?
Jared B. Baker.
Okay.
The B stands for nothing. They just didn't want him to have a middle name, so we
they
just
could
put B in
you
there. That's all.
Oh, that's funny. Wow.
My grandmother was on the school committee, his wife, before women could vote.
About 1910, 1912, something like that. And their son wrote the history of Halifax.
Oh.
So
well,
this blacksmith shop has more than just a history of a blacksmith shop. It has a history of the person that
town.
ran it
Yeah,
in the town.
And the town.
Right, exactly.
And look at this. So when did it stop functioning?
1946.
1946.
When he died.
When he died. And
Did they-
nobody else ever did it.
They locked the blacksmith shop up and never opened it again. And once in a while they had an auction or something like that, but they didn't have it at all.
He had a heart attack here in the shop.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then the Ford Foundation, they wanted to buy this ox frame for $2,000 or $2,500
Yeah.
and bring it to the Dearborn Museum that they had, and they refused.
Village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they refused to do it,
Good.
and they kept it. And this, as you see it, is exactly the way it was when he died in the shop.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah, I was 6 months old.
You were 6, you were born in
My
46?
brother and sister knew.
Yeah,
I'm older than you.
and all the tags that you see on all the stuff.
Yeah.
We had a Boy Scout come in, and he tagged everything, took pictures, and they took everything out of here, put it in a trailer, and kept it there until they finished the blacksmith shop. And then he had the gang come back and put everything back exactly the way it was in the shop.
Wow.
At Christmas time, this little village is open for a walk for everything.
Oh, it is.
And they have a blacksmith that is still in business from Middleborough.
And do they have
And
it
he
fired?
comes and gets that
Oh, yeah.
going, and
Oh, my
he makes
goodness.
things
Oh, yeah.
and-
He does make things.
Oh, yeah, yeah. little
Wow.
I've
Wow.
seen him in different things, like when they do reenactments.
bits. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
He's
Dean
always there.
Rand's from Rock Village in Middleborough.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the blacksmith right there. And this man here,
Look at the bellow. Woo!
Oh, look, the
That's-
mice have been here.
Yes, they have.
this man right here
Yeah?
owned our house at one time.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
So when
Mr.
was your
Otto,
house built?
1803.
1803.
So this was the blacksmith before we moved it when he was younger, and that was the man that lived in our house. And that's the front door right here now. So
All right, turn around and get a picture of the three of you.
probably 1900,
We were
1910.
there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that came from
Yes.
there. And they,
What did this do, though?
you brought an oxen in here.
You see?
You moved him in, okay, you put his head in between there, you pull these straps up and put it underneath his belly. Yeah. You put him under his belly, and then you had one hoof you put here, and one hoof you put there, and you did the same thing on both sides. And the hoof you're going to shoe is loose, because if you let them go, if they go, I mean, they're so powerful, they'll
Yeah.
kill you. So you had where a horse would just stand there, but a oxen won't, and it's a U-shape. There's two shoes that are like this, so you had to put one on each side of the hoof.
I guess I never thought about an oxen being.
Yeah.
you
Well, they
know.
would go down the street too. You'd
Right.
walk
Well, I
along the
thought
street
about it.
and
Yeah,
everything
you
else.
did see them.
They
So
would-
they needed just like
Anything
horses.
heavy, everything heavy, something like that, you'd have an oxen. A horse would move too fast, but an oxen just kind of plows along, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I never
So you-
thought about them
So
being
you would do this, and you just move them up to where you want it, and you put the stake in where you wanted to have it, and then you shoe them.
Stabilize him to put his
Shoe
shoe
on.
Yeah, so you got them right here. See, this is an old one here.
Okay.
Another man doing it here. See,
Okay.
so yeah, and you had to tighten his head in there too, because he'd start thrashing around, and so.
Lucky you could even get them up there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that must have been a job to get.
Wall. They took this wall out and put a glass thing and everything else. Yeah, and you pumped it. You turned it.
I wonder.
Right here.
Eagle Scout?
Eagle Scout Project, right. So we have a wagon in there. It was given to us by C.P. Washburn's.
Oh, okay.
And that was the longest running, continuously run family business in the country. Was C.P. Washburn Lumber Company. Yeah, last one was in Middleborough.
Oh, that's good.
But he
Oh,
gave us
that's
that
nice.
wagon. And there were other artifacts that are in there, so.
Right
That's the
here.
library right there, and there's your school.
Aha.
This is, my kids went to this school, so
I'll show you the old school when we go back where my father went and I went.